Well, good morning. This is Ian R. Crane, and it's the morning of Wednesday, the 18th of September 2019. And it's a beautiful late summer's morning up here on the edge of Epsom Downs in Surrey. Well, I must confess, I feel fresh, I feel vibrant, I feel energized, and I don't feel a day over 63. So it's all good. Well, I'm back on the road with the 5G Is It Safe tour. And last night in Canterbury, what a fantastic crowd right up in the gods of the Kent cricket ground. Fortunately, there wasn't any cricket going on to be a distraction, so I had everybody's undivided attention, and I'm pleased to say, people travelled from all over Kent. One lady taking a taxi from Romney Marsh, about £80 return trip to come to last night's event. And the wonderful thing is that people are now waking up and they're starting to ask the right questions. And on the front cover of yesterday's Daily Mail was this headline: the 3.5 billion smart meter fiasco. Looking at basically how the government's agenda to have smart meters fitted in every house by 2020 just ain't gonna happen. And that's the good news. And they've pushed the target date back to 2024. But the good news is that people are waking up and they are determined to either not have a smart meter installed or find ways to get rid of their smart meters. And today in the Daily Mail, page 38 in Money Mail, there is "Don't be dumb about smart meters." And actually, this is very interesting because it's actually quite a balanced report. It's making the observation that you don't have to have one. There is no compunction, no law demanding that you have one, despite the various suppliers trying to foist them on their customers, because obviously they are rewarded in various ways by being able to report that X percentage of their customers have smart meters. But there is also the question, can I get mine taken away? And the response here is yes, but you may be charged a fee. Small energy supplier Bulb, for example, charges customers £120 to have a smart meter removed. Or you can ask your supplier to make your meter dumb so that you can go back to submitting your own readings. Well, of course, if you make it dumb, you need to make sure that it's completely deactivated and it's not continuing to pulse at anything up to 15 times a second as it looks for that receiver to take the information. And when it can't, some of these smart meters, when they can't find a receiver, they increase the power of the pulse. But £120, I appreciate that's beyond some people's budgets, but that's actually a small price to pay to get one of these carcinogenic, negative health inducing devices out of your property as soon as you possibly can. And if you want to try an alternative, then simply tell your supplier that if they don't come and take it out, you're going to change supplier. Because for a lot of these meters, they go dumb when they're operating with a supplier other than that installed them. So then there's the question, are they security risks? Well, yes they are, because bottom line is anyone hacking into them eventually is going to be able to determine whether you're in the house, whether you're not in the house, what you're doing in the house. And of course, there's the invasion of privacy issue here. So this is not a compulsory agenda. We need to get this message across to people. You can refuse. And if that means stopping the fitters coming into your house, then so be it. Unfortunately, for those people who have them outside, then maybe you need to put new locks on your meter cabinet. But this is an invasion of your privacy, and it is going to most likely have a negative impact on your health and certainly the health of your children. And as we know, it is young children that are far more susceptible to these radio frequency emissions than the mature physical vehicle. So that's a good, positive start to the day, and it makes a change to be able to say that there's something balanced coming from the lamestream media. But that may be because the political spin doctors are not putting pressure on the editors right now, because they're all otherwise engaged in their respective conferences. And of course, that's a pantomime in of itself, isn't it? So I'll say more about the conferences on Friday. But more about the 5G, because this has to be right now the most important issue for humanity. And this 5G agenda is being rolled out right across the planet, and the bottom line is that it is for the industry to prove that this technology is safe. They're trying to turn the tables because they know they cannot prove 5G is safe. In fact, thanks to Senator Blumenthal and his Senate hearing back in February the 6th this year, we know categorically that there is not a single independent study that the industry can produce which proves 5G frequencies to be safe. So now they're trying to turn the tables and say, look, it's not for us to prove it's safe, it's for you, the critics, the detractors, to prove it's unsafe. This is complete tosh. There is not a single industry that basically can roll this out. There is legislation preventing industry from taking advantage of the general public, of the consumer, by rolling out something that they know to be toxic. Now, we know that doesn't stop them. And look at what's been rolled out. I mean, over the years. I mean, the obvious ones like thalidomide and Vioxx. These two drugs that have been rolled out by the pharmaceutical industry that have cost literally hundreds of thousands of people their lives, and nobody gets held to account because they hide behind the corporate logo. And then that infamous Senate hearing in 1996, where all the tobacco CEOs held up their right hand and swore in front of the Senate committee that they had not seen any evidence proving the link between smoking and lung cancer. Of course, anybody who tried to make that same claim today would be rightly ridiculed. And this is what the telecoms industry and the government are now doing with 5G. They are putting their hands up and saying, we have not seen any conclusive evidence. They will generally choose their words carefully because they absolutely know that there is evidence. There is the 1972 US Naval report which spells out the dangers of exposure to microwave frequencies. And that's nearly 50 years ago, and nothing has changed. So the good news is that communities are starting to wake up. They are starting to realize that this is not in their best interests, and they're also starting to realize that anything that has the term smart in front of it ain't smart for you and it ain't smart for me. So after 7 5G is it safe presentations, currently all in the south, then we're really starting to build a head of steam, and community groups are starting to manifest, to share information. And of course, last Thursday, as I said on Monday, the Bournemouth Echo ran an article stating that the scrutiny committee of Bournemouth, Christchurch and Poole Council was calling for evidence because they wanted to hear the concerns of people who were very much aware of the negative health impacts, and Bournemouth Council Scrutiny Committee wanted to hear those concerns. But once again, this is the local authority saying, well, you prove to us it's not safe. No, people need to go and appear before that scrutiny committee and say, look guys, it's for you to prove it's safe. Where's your independent studies proving that 5G frequencies are safe, proving that they are not carcinogenic, proving that they are not going to harm everything from the unborn child, right through to the more mature residents. But of course, it's young children and youths that are far more susceptible to the negative connotations of this technology. So this is a real fight. Fracking was targeting specific communities, primarily across the north and a few pockets in the south. and everybody else, or most of the people, were just sort of watching from the sidelines in other communities around the country. But this is targeting everyone. And smart meters is just the start of it. But obviously the intent, and of course with the consultation document that's out right now, because people have latched on to the fact that the trees were being culled so that the 5G frequencies had clear line of sight connectivity, particularly to autonomous vehicles, because obviously it's a disaster waiting to happen if an autonomous vehicle loses its 5G connectivity. So people have realized that the tree culling program was directly related to 5G, and are now making sure that local authorities know, that the communities know that it's related to 5G and nothing else. And that's why the Department of Culture, Media and Sport, because rolling out 5G apparently is now a sport, so they know the people are going to stop the trees being culled, which is why they've initiated this consultation, which is still running and runs till November, making the proposition that permitted development for phone masts double the heights of phone masts that can be literally manifest outside your back garden with no planning permission. All the operator has to do is get access to a particular plot of land, and then if this consultation document goes through uncontested, then a phone mast that's 165 feet high could literally be at the bottom of your garden, or worse, outside your school. And in the 5G presentations, I am showing how this is affecting schools. The evidence that people in schools in California are very concerned as cancer clusters manifest, and the only thing that's changed is a phone mast has appeared outside the school. And around the UK, increasingly parents are taking action. They are holding their children away from school until phone masts that are in immediate proximity of school are basically either deactivated or completely demolished. So tonight we have the 5G Is It Safe event in London. This is at the Holiday Inn in Wrights Lane, which is literally just off Kensington High Street. It's about 400 metres from High Street Ken tube station. And this event will start at the usual time of 7:30. So doors open at 7. The event starts at 7:30 prompt. And for all those people who have contacted me and asked why I'm not coming to their town or their city, well, there's only so many days in a week, and there's only so much time that I have to be able to commit to this project at the moment. So tonight will be live streamed. So if you want to sign up for the live stream, it is on pay-per-view. It'll be I think it's $4.99, but it's going to be a high quality, high definition presentation. And you can sign up for the live stream on either my website, ianrcrane.com, or alternativeview.co.uk. And you'll be able to access that presentation anytime in the future once you've signed up to watch it tonight. So tomorrow night I shall be in Reading at the Calcott Hotel, which is just literally 2 minutes off of the Reading West exit off the M4. And then next week I'll go up to the Midlands with 5G Is It Safe presentations in Leicester, in Nottingham, in Cambridge, and in Ipswich. And then the following week into Yorkshire and Manchester, and then the final week of the tour into Scotland, Belfast, and Wales. So Edinburgh, Glasgow, Belfast, Swansea, and Cardiff. And it's great to see people traveling some distance. So we're not just looking to set up these 5G awareness groups in the main cities, but in communities right across the country. So obviously the Brexit pantomime continues, and of course the global geopolitical pantomime continues. And just a quick reference to the attacks on the Saudi refineries. Just ask yourself, who has most to gain here? And I don't think it's beyond coincidence that John Bolton, the warmonger, the man who has spent some 25 years desperately trying to ignite World War III, and he gets canned from his role as Defense Secretary in the US, and within a few days there's an attack on the Saudi refinery, which is blamed on Iran. And of course, Bolton has been desperate to get the US to attack Iran on behalf of his the other country for which he holds a passport. And it's now 9 years since I delivered a presentation in San Jose, where I got a standing ovation from the audience, but I got ripped a new one by the organizers because I spent the presentation talking about the elephant in the room, i.e. the number of dual passport holders within the American administration. And of course, we have a not dissimilar situation here in the UK. So for people in the US, in the UK, and indeed other countries around the world, ask yourself, who is really influencing this pernicious agenda on humanity? Because it seems to be coming from a source other than within our respective countries. So it really is time for people to stand up, to take responsibility, and recognize that if you don't participate, then you are complicit in this agenda, and you are complicit in the abomination that we are potentially leaving future generations. Or you can do the right thing, and that is find a way to get involved, even if it's spreading the word and triggering people's curiosity to get them to take a look at what's occurring, and then decide for themselves, how they are going to contribute. But in the short term, get rid of your smart meter. We need to get rid of smart motorways as well. 46 people have died as a result of smart motorways and the eradication of hard shoulders. And, so that's a number that's going to increase, obviously, as time goes on and as the number of smart motorway miles increase. So, if you sit back, then you are gifting the future to the socio-psychopathic global corporatists and to those who wrongly believe themselves to be the rightful rulers of a planetary fiefdom. So if you're in the London area this evening, hopefully we'll see you at the Holiday Inn, just off Wrights Lane, High Street, Kensington this evening. If you can't make any of the 5G Is It Safe presentations over the next few weeks, then maybe consider signing in to the live stream presentation this evening. So you have a great day. I'm going to take a brief walk in this glorious late summer sunshine. A bit fresh this morning. Can certainly tell that autumn is on the way. You have a great day. And if I don't see you either tonight in London or in Reading tomorrow, I'll catch with you at 8:30 on Friday morning. You take care now.